Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it. There's always there's unwritten rules in life. You know, people look at you and, like, you know how some people just say, "Hey, that's just something you don't do," you know, or "Hey, you know, this is how we do it." You know, there's certain unwritten rules, or just, you know, even without talking about it, that you just do. And, you know, sometimes people are a little unsure what those rules are. So I'm here to, I'm here to give you a little insight on some, you know, some rules that we all go by, that maybe you didn't catch, but they're definitely unwritten rules that most of us go by. So one of the things that we all go by is, especially with ladies, is don't ask someone their age, their salary, or weight unless they bring it up first. So two of those is something you really don't do with ladies. You don't ask their age and you don't ask their weight. But anybody in general, you don't ask them about, you know, their salary, how much money they make. You don't worry about other people's pockets like that. You know, that's a very serious thing for a lot of folks. So someone shows you something on their phone, don't swipe left and don't swipe right. Mind your business. You know, some of y'all be doing that in relationships. Hey, you know, I ain't gonna comment on that, but come on now, come on. Yeah. Another unwritten rule, and we're talking about just like social rules right now. When someone takes a group picture, you only one time you should say, can we take another? It ain't about you. It's a group picture. So stop trying to be the perfect one in the picture. Like, that's irritating as fuck. That's like an unwritten rule. Don't keep saying, hey, let's take another one. Let's take another one. Like, come on now. Another social rule, if someone has headphones on, usually it means don't talk to them. Like, I got mine on right now, so it's different if they got maybe one AirPod in and they can hear out the other. That's a little different. But for the most part, somebody walking around with headphones on, they probably don't want to be bothered. If they somewhere in the corner with the headphones on, maybe listening to music or maybe listening to an audio book, or, you know, maybe just zoning out to something. Usually they don't want to be bothered. That's their quiet time. So that's another social rule. Like, mind your fucking business, leave them alone. Let's talk about like public and just let's say everyday etiquette. I'll tell you another one that drives me crazy. Don't stand right behind someone at the ATM. Back up a little bit. You know, I know a lot of people don't go to the ATM as much, but if somebody's standing in line at the ATM, like out of their car standing in line, don't stand right behind them. You know, for one, that's invasion of privacy, and two, that's just creepy. That's just creepy. Some people don't care. I know in bigger cities, some of them don't give a fuck. They'll be like, mind your fucking business. Turn around and get your money and mind your business. But for the most part, like, back up a little bit. The shopping cart thing. So a shopping cart thing is another big one. You know, put the shopping cart back. You know, instead of leaving it in the parking lot. There's nothing worse than somebody just just leaving it somewhere where it can run into somebody's car. You know, you come out to your car and there's a shopping cart that's been put a dent in your car. Like, that's the worst. Or, you know, you're looking for a shopping cart and none of them are in the building because they're just scattered around the parking lot. Some of these might be my pet peeve, but for y'all, hopefully it's an unwritten rule. Like, put it back. Put it back. I'll tell you another one that's an unwritten rule. Letting people off the elevator, the train, or the bus before you get on. You know, sometimes people are very rude, you know, and disrespectful. They'll just jump on before people can get off. You know, just turn to the side and let people get off first. You're going to get where you need to get to. You know, have a little, you know, decency, a little common courtesy. You know, Another one is, don't cut in line. You know, just because you acting either acting like you know somebody or you do know somebody. Like that right there will get you fucked up usually. It's gonna get you fucked up. It's gonna get you hurt. And I've seen moments where it's been fatal because, somebody, you stand in the line, all of a sudden you just see somebody walk up, they see somebody you know, and they just sit, they do that trick where they get to talking to them for a long period of time and they just walking with the line and stuff. It's like, nah, nigga, get back. But it is what it is. That one is a little tricky, but for the most part, don't do that. That's rude. You can come say hi, but you get your ass back in line. Like food. Let's talk about, unwritten rules when it comes to food and eating. Don't take the last slice or piece of food unless someone else, says it's okay. Like at least check with everybody. I know we like to eat good and, something maybe it's just some food that's just too good, but don't be that person. Don't be that person that just takes it and you ain't checking to see if everybody got some food. Check around real quick, make sure everything good. If someone buys you food, at least offer, them a bite back or something. Be like, hey, you want some of this? Or, if somebody's offering you food or something, at least offer, something back. Whenever someone cooks, offer to do the dishes. Just do, or don't even offer, just get up and do the dishes. That's just showing respect to somebody that took time out to cook something with love. I always say when people cook you something, they're cooking with love. They love you enough to, or they care about you enough to cook you a home cooked meal, a hot meal. The least you can do is just say, hey, don't worry about the dishes, I got them. I'm gonna wash the dishes as soon as I get through eating. You go relax and enjoy that food. Oh my God. While we're on the subject, double dipping. Don't double dip unless it's your own plate of food, or your own dip. Oh, some people do that stuff. They'll dip their chip and then with the same chip they'll dip it again. And your hands start itching because you just want to smack the shit out of them. Like, fuck is you doing? Don't do that shit. Another unwritten rule is if somebody says you want gum, part of it, one part of it is you being nice. Another part sometimes is usually you need the gum. So that's an unwritten rule that don't take it personal, but maybe they're trying to help you out. And sometimes people are just being nice. If you got some gum, offer it to people. But sometimes you need that gum. Then there's like household rules. You got household rules too. The person who spots the bug, is not always the person who has to kill it. As soon as you be like, hey, there go a bug over there, what's the first thing somebody say? Hey man, go kill it. Like if you, whoever, it don't matter who around, kill it. Kill the bug. Don't leave, almost empty drinks, in the refrigerator. Finish that shit and toss it. Whoever calls shotgun, sometimes it's just crazy, but it is what it is. But if somebody calls shotgun, let it go. Let them have it. And don't turn into a bait. Don't take it personal. It is what it is. The rules. Replacing the toilet paper, that's a universal responsibility. Don't just, finish it and be like, hey, I guess the next person SOL. Like that's, come on. You making somebody's life hard. They get in there and they sit down, they look to the side, ain't no toilet paper. Man, that's a struggle. And that's embarrassing. What if you at a party and use the last little bit of toilet paper and then the next person go in there, now they gotta hope and pray that somebody hear them in the bathroom. They ain't gotta, do a walk of shame or something. I just thought about one. Parents are notorious for this, and then as you get older, you understand it. But don't touch the thermostat unless you pay the bills. People think they can just, oh, I'm hot, let me turn the air up. Hey, who the fuck told you to touch the thermostat? And for my workers out there, how them jobs be. How you are at the jobs where, people think they the fucking guardians of the damn thermostat. You know, every time you turn around, you like, I don't mind being cold to sell at the job because, you know, you can always throw a coat on or something. But people that be hot and they want to turn the heat on, man, I hate that shit. I can always get warm, but if I can keep it cool, nah, can't do that. Another unwritten rule is if somebody's telling a story, let them finish. Stop interrupting. You know, and if you heard it before, shut the fuck up. You know, they tell them a story, and more than likely it's probably interesting. You know, people want to see it. If someone texts you, I'm outside, go outside. Don't be like, oh, okay, and then 10 or 20 minutes later you pop up. That's so disrespectful. That person took the time out of their day, or, you know, they're helping you out by more than likely picking you up. You know, or maybe they went and got you something to eat and they're bringing you something to eat, or they're dropping something off, or whatever. Like, bring your ass outside. Don't be like, okay, and then 10 or 20 minutes later you walk your little happy ass outside. Like, go outside. Have some respect. Don't one-up someone. If someone's having a bad day and they're telling you about their bad day, don't try to one-up them and be like, oh, you know, I had a bad day too. This is what happened to me. Like, you letting them know, like, fuck your day. I had a bad day too. Like, that's just, you know, we've all been in that situation. Now, it's different if you're listening to someone having a bad day and you're giving them a scenario where you had a similar moment and you're trying to make them feel better. That's a little different. But if you be like, oh, well, your day ain't compared to my day, that's not nice. If you borrow something, return it in the same condition. Or just fucking return it. Some of y'all don't return shit. You know, y'all just take shit and then don't return it. You know, but yeah, return it in the same condition. If you finish something, replace it. You know, or if you're going to come to a social event, bring something with you. Stop coming empty-handed. I can keep going on with this, but the thing is life is filled with a lot of unwritten rules. And we all have our own little unwritten rules. But, you know, I was just trying to name off some that we all deal with. But you know the unwritten rules, you know. So try to follow along with them. Don't be one of those people, oh, I don't do stuff, I don't do it like that. You might not do it like that, but you about to fuck it up for yourself because everybody else looking at you like you're crazy. But that's just unsolicited advice. Take it or leave it.